Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I wanted to go ahead and tackle the question, is Redbubble too saturated in 2024 to go ahead and utilize and sell on? And the answer is absolutely not. And I want to go ahead and kind of preface what I say is that it really just depends on you. It's not too saturated if you're uploading into niches that have less saturation. If you're uploading into niches that are high competition and have a ton of different designs to compete with, it does become harder to compete. Now, I want to put things into perspective, though, because it's important to understand the approach. Because if you're going to be uploading to low competition niches, right, you're going to also have to realize that there's less search demand in those niches. It's a sacrifice to make. It's a viable sacrifice. It could definitely work. But you also have to understand what is the cost of uploading to a higher competition niche. Something that I went over in the Redbubble Tag course multiple times, which, by the way, we got kind of like a little bit cleaner of a website look recently. So if you guys want to check it out, go ahead and check it out. But the Redbubble Tag course, the SEO course, where I teach you titling, SEO, all that kind of stuff on this website, where I teach that you guys that information, something that I went over was the importance of adding different kinds of tags that are also competitive. Now, you don't want to do this too often, right? You don't want to put it as the majority of tags in your work. You want to use this at a very small amount of times, and there's a reason why. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say I'm uploading a tiger design. Okay, what I'm going to do personally is I'm going to figure out less competitive niches using my Redbubble Tagger tool. Okay, I've made videos on this. This is my favorite tool that I personally use. I'll leave a clip at the end of the video to show you guys how I personally use it. But when I find my keywords, there are going to be times after I add in all my low competition keywords, there are times where I'll add keywords in like tiger, which is actually a short tail keyword, but it is competitive. There's a specific reason behind that. There's a science behind that. And the reason why I'll slowly, very, very rarely add in maybe 5 to 10% of my keyword tag value of these short tail keywords. And remember, I'm only adding in about 5 to 10%. So maybe 1 or 2 at most, right? Is because when I eventually get more sales on that design off of the low competition keywords, I want to rank higher in my high competition as well. So let me go ahead and give you an example as to what I actually mean. Let's just assume that this was my design for the keyword tiger. If we go ahead and scroll down into the tags, we have an assortment of different tags. We have tiger, we have Chinese, Asian, zodiac, Eastern, zodiac, etc. We have a bunch of short tail keywords. Now, this design specifically was successful way before like 2018. So you really can't look at the tags and try to work off these. They will not. If you're going to use these tags literally, and you upload an image of the same quality, unfortunately, you're not going to be seen. These are way too competitive for beginner sellers. So this is not the idea in 2024. Back in 2018, 2017, 2016, maybe. I know this design personally, it blew up in around 2017, 2018. So it's been many, many years since this design was in existence. However, what you want to realize is, assuming this was my design, like I said, the first step that I'm going to take is I'm going to understand my overarching niche. And my overarching niche in this case would be the keyword tiger. Now remember, we also went over this inside the course. We stated specifically that every keyword you use in the search is a niche on its own, okay? So all my keywords that I'm going to add in my tags have to be related to the keyword tiger, but can't be nearly as competitive. When I add those keywords, I'm probably going to have room for a keyword or two that are higher competition. So in this case, it would make sense to add the keyword tiger. But there's a purpose behind it. There's a strategy. I'm not just adding it simply because it's a tiger design. That's not why. My purpose behind adding it is because those long tail keywords, those less competitive keywords that I'm adding, right, will help me get more sales. I'll also do a few other things to help me get more sales, such as Instagram automation, such as Pinterest automation, such as Twitter in automation, such as Redbubble favorite automation, right? I'm going to be using these tools to help me grow, and I'm going to get sales. Naturally, I'll rank higher for all the keyword tags in my list. And when I do, there will be a higher chance that I'll be seen in the more competitive niches. So picture it like this. Imagine if I had only 5 tags in my list. One of those keywords was tiger. The rest were all low competition, low competition niches with low search demand. Imagine on day 1 when I uploaded this design, I had 0 sales and I ended up on page 56, for example, right? As the days goes on, when I get sales from different areas, from Pinterest, from Instagram, from Twitter, even from some organic long tail searches, maybe a title search that happened to pop up on Google and I get a sale from there, right? Or a few sales from there. What's going to happen is my design for the keyword tiger will not be on page 56 anymore. It might be on page 2. It might be on page 1. And once again, there's 3 components to the algorithmic search. If I search for the word tiger, right? Let me go ahead and type that in again. If I search for the word tiger, what determines tiger to be here, this design to be here, or this design to be here, or this design to be here, is based on a few things. Number 1, it's sales. That's the most powerful one. Number 2, and this is obviously assuming that they already exist, is the proper tags, because the design is not going to show for the right keywords if they don't exist in the keyword list. And then number 3, the number of favorites, okay? Those are the 3 most important things for search, okay? So when I'm getting the sales, what I'm really doing is I have a long-term strategy and I have a short-term strategy. My short-term strategy is I'm going to use the power of social media, the power of my long-tail tags, and the power of a few other things. For example, the Redbubble Favorite Automator tool, which, by the way, if we go back here, this is the tool right here. I'm going to do this to help me short-term get higher ranking. When I get higher ranking, what am I then going to do? Or let me backtrack. When I get higher ranking, if I get higher ranking, how do I actually get the higher ranking? Not if, but how do I actually achieve that? I'm achieving that by getting sales with the other strategies. But as I get more sales, I'm going to, by nature, rank higher for the short tail keywords. And I want to get enough sales to the point where my short tail keywords are carrying the load of traffic now, and I can move on to other accounts, other niches, etc. Something that I would do every single day with my journey when I was uploading 60 designs a day every day, and I dedicated a whole year of doing so, and I created a new store every single month, and I switched niches every single month on those new stores. Something that I would do is I would use social media marketing every single day. And by the way, for those who are curious about the social media marketing, maybe you haven't seen my past videos, I'll use the Instagram follow-unfollow as an example. Okay, I'll grow my Instagram account. When I grow my Instagram account, I'm making posts of the designs that I've already created, right? Those designs get people to click my link in bio on my Instagram. Then they either, some of them buy, some of them don't buy. The ones who do purchase, well, that's a sale for me. Great. And really, I'll rank higher, but the sales that don't accumulate right away, they get retargeted by Redbubble's ads program, because Redbubble does pay for ads. And then that design kind of follows them over the weeks and the months, which generates even more sales over time. But more importantly, it's not about the money that I'm making now, right? The short-term sales are great, but I have a long-term strategy and approach. And part of the reason why I was able to go from niche to niche, store to store, month after month, is because when I was working on that store for a month, uploading 60 designs a day just to that niche, I was running so many different short-term marketing methods that increased my sales to where now my designs with the short tail keywords are my long tail strategy, because that's the designs, or that's the keywords that have a higher search volume. Because you have to connect the dots, right? If the keyword is short tail, like the keyword tiger, that gets more searches than the keyword Chinese New Year tiger or year of the tiger, right? If it gets more searches, that means there's more demand. And if it gets more demand, then that opens the door for me to make more money into the future. But in order for me to even get rank for that keyword in the first place, is I have to have the sales to back it up. Redbubble's just not going to produce that position for me out of the kindness of their heart. I have to earn it. And how do I earn it? By following the needs of the algorithm, which number one need is sales, which is why I say I have a short-term plan and a long-term plan. The long-term plan is I want eventually to upload designs and have them generate sales on their own. But they're not going to generate sales on their own if they're not being seen. And how are they going to be seen? If they generate sales right now. So I have to generate sales right now so that they can rank higher. When they rank higher, I'm going to get more sales because they're being seen. Does that make sense? And so if that's my goal, then I have to figure out how I have to push the sales faster. And that's what we did in a period of a month. We would go on, maybe get anywhere from 300 to 700 sales on that account for that month. And then as I would walk away from it, it would generate a drip feed of sales every single day organically because of how high we push those designs in the ranking. Now, if you do the math on that, that was about 1,800 designs a month. And half of them were selling with a lot of power, immense power. In fact, that's what kind of helped me lead up to the point where I took those 9 stores and I eventually sold them, which I made a video on that. But the point is, and what I'm trying to say is that with my Redbubble process, especially back in 2022 and 2021, is I had a long-term and a short-term plan. I knew that the algorithm was going to reward me if my designs reached the top. But I had to figure out, how do I get my designs there for the keywords that actually get plenty of search demand? When I mean plenty, I mean thousands of searches a day. How do I get there? The only way I'm going to get there is not through luck, but I have to get those sales to make that happen. And that's when I started searching for different avenues. I started searching, okay, how do I promote this on social media? How do I do X, Y, Z? How do I rank a little bit higher? One of the experiments that I ran was the Redbubble Favorite Automator test. I don't know if you guys remember this. Maybe you guys stuck along for the time when I used to post back in 2021 and 2022 about Redbubble, but I ran a test. I ran an experiment using this tool right here. I wanted to see, can it really help me rank higher? So what I did was I created different posts, and all posts were on the same level. They were black and white photos on Instagram of horses. And there was a group of pictures that all received tons of favorites on my posts. So I got a lot of different favorites. And then there were photos that had no favorites at all, like 0, not even a single one. And I compared the ranking of the two under the same keyword. I wanted to see which one ranked higher. Now, keep in mind, the only variable, the only difference between the two posts, or the designs or listings, whatever you want to call them, on Redbubble, the only difference was that one had favorites and one didn't. The ones that had favorites ranked higher. They didn't have any extra tags. They didn't have any extra titles. They were titled the exact same thing. They were tagged the exact same thing. And the photo was exactly the same. There was no difference. They were black and white shots of horses. But yet the ones with the favorites ranked higher. So that was another cheat code. There's a lot of cheat codes in these print-on-demand games. You have to figure out how does the algorithm work, and then you have to reverse engineer to it. So, for example, if I know that, I used to do this with merch by Amazon. In fact, I actually have a video on my YouTube channel, me showing this. Let me go ahead and whip it out here. And maybe the video is 3-4 years old. Let me check here. If I go here to Autopilot Passive Income, right? And I search, let's go to our channel. Let me pause this. Let me search Amazon. And this was the video here, okay? This video, it's over 3 years old. Maybe 3.5, 4 years. This video right here, I showed how I reverse engineered the algorithm, where I knew that merch by Amazon Designs get more, I guess you can say, search presence, right? They get more demand, or not more demand, excuse me. They get seen more when they have more sales. They rank higher into the algorithm. So what I did was I used an Instagram automation tool, right? And this was the actual video right here. And I could make a separate video kind of explaining this a little bit better. Let me go to 1080p. This was the video. And you could see here, I ranked all the way up. I went from 3 sales to 5 sales, 7 sales, 10 sales, 13 sales. I had certain days where I was turning it off and on, and I was testing it. And these numbers, like 13 sales, people in a lot higher tiers would get this. My account was pretty much brand new. You know, you can look at this. This was like, I think, a tier 500 with 6 reviews on the account. There was not much at all on the account, but yet it was making sales on people on levels that were much higher tiers. And this is per day. This is not, per week or per month. This is per day. There are people I know right now with over they're past the tier 100,000, and they generate maybe 13, 14 sales a day. And they're in a much higher tier. Mind you, I was in tier 500. So you kind of do the math on that. And what I was doing was I was using an Instagram automating tool, right? And this was at the time 3-4 years ago where I was only using Instagram. And I wasn't wise for that because I was really kind of pushing my other kind of success to the side. I should have went out to Twitter. I should have used Pinterest more. I just didn't pay attention at the time. But I was using Instagram. I was going hard on it. And it was doing really well for me, and it was really super, super easy. And keep in mind, the tool was doing all the work. It was a growth tool that grew my account and got sales. In fact, there was another YouTuber. I want to shout him out right now. His name is Income Surfer Stream. This guy didn't believe in my strategy. I don't want to say didn't believe, but he tested it. He actually did a live test on his channel to see if what I was saying actually worked. And it worked. And he made his first sale with this strategy doing the same thing. And I actually want to show you Redbubble Instagram automation, right? And I think he used the exact tool. And I know he mentioned me in one of his videos. This is like back in the day. It's like 3 years. Let's see here. I can't remember where the video is. Let's see. I know he got his first sale with this on Redbubble, and it worked for him. And it was pretty epic because I remember him sending me like the referral. Let me go ahead and pause this, and I actually want to see what video it is. All right, so this is my mentions section on YouTube, and you could actually see here, this video was done over 2 years ago, and it says, huge credit to Passive Profits for teaching me about Instagram bots. This is an absolute game changer so far. And this is the video. This was the actual video where he got his first sale on Redbubble with this strategy. And he was kind of talking about how he was going to set it up and what tools he used. And he was kind of explaining to his audience how he did it. And like I said, this was a strategy that he used kind of for a little while. And this was his sale right here, right? This was his post about his sale where he got that $8.51 sale. And it says here, and like I said, this post was made 2 years ago. Okay, 12 days after making nothing on the store, got my first sale, and he links me here, Passive Profits. And he got his first sale because of the Instagram strategy. And look at this. I actually left him a comment 2 years ago. It says, I told him you should have commented on my channel. I never see your comments, LOL. Every time I try to comment back, they automatically disappear. Huge congrats on the success. And I want to see what he replied and said. He said, I'm going to push it to the limit, see what's happening. Very excited. My niche is legit too. Peace out, man, and thanks for the inspiration. And I commented back. So this is just a point, guys, to show you that there are ways to play the game with the algorithm. Is this the, yeah, there are ways to play the game with the algorithm, make the money on Redbubble. You can succeed. And some of those tricks, those cheat codes, understanding the algorithm, really, they're not tricks or hacks. They come from understanding and testing and trials. And these are things that I went over, like I said, in my courses. And I do that for all my courses where I teach what I've learned, kind of how to speed things up, you know. And that's kind of something that I went over pretty heavily to you guys And I kind of stress it. Of course, most people, right, live in this world of just like, oh, well, it is what it is, and they just don't do it, and that creates an opportunity for the people who are going to go hard and attack it. But anyways, that is a perfect example of how do you create that long-term strategy by creating more sales, right? You're going to need more sales to rank up. And in order for you to rank up to begin with, right, you need to have the original sales to generate. Now, there's two things you could do. You could sit back and wait for those sales to come, or you can control your destiny and create the sales. And as those sales trickle in more and more and more, it becomes a snowball effect. So I just kind of want to explain, this is the last thing I'll explain for the video because I don't want this to go on for too long. Let me pull up a whiteboard here so I can explain this. Redbubble and a lot of print on demand, not just Redbubble, but it's kind of like this. You have to work your way up the hill in the beginning. And what does that look like? Creating the designs, right? Once you create the designs, you have to understand how to tag properly. If you don't know how to tag properly, it's a waste to even create the designs because you're burning time. That's all you're doing. Titling properly. People underestimate their titles, but your titles can bring you an extra 30 to 50% of traffic that you generate on a daily basis. In fact, I've been studying titling way before I ever done Redbubble, print on demand, or anything like that. And part of the reason why I had to is because I owned my own website and I was running different businesses at the time. This was, like I said, years ago, 7-8 years ago. And here I am now where majority of my traffic, let's say 70%, comes in through organic. Part of the reason is titling. I understand how to do the SEO titling properly. I see what people are searching for and I provide them what they want, right? These are just 3 aspects of hard work, the work that you have to do. Another example is the social media, like I've said, and I've showed on this YouTube channel multiple times. In fact, I actually want to show you guys something, is that on my YouTube, let me go ahead and pull it up here. Autopilot, passive income, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to search.
Hey guys, welcome to
Sorry about that. We're going to search snowball. And this was a video right here of the snowball effect. And I kind of wanted to explain this, is that you're going to have to do this work first, right? And you're up here. It's going to take a long time to get your snowball up here, which means your chances, your opportunity. Once you get those first couple sales, the snowball starts to move down here. And what is the snowball? Each snowball represents each Redbubble listing. If you want to just sit back and create the Redbubble listing, just sit back and wait, that's fine, but you're not going to get nearly as much sales as I would or anybody else would who's doing exactly what I'm saying. You're going to make about, I don't know, a 20th of what I do. It's not even comparable. It's not even comparable. If I'm making $8,000 a month on Redbubble, you're lucky if you make 500, 600. You'll be really working if you make 1,000. I mean, but the average, think about how much people make on Redbubble on average per month. What, $10, $5? Most people are just not doing well because they're not playing to the algorithm, not playing the game. And then what happens is the more sales you get, the easier it becomes to get more sales. So your snowball is not this big anymore. It becomes this big. Then it becomes this big. Then it becomes this big. And the listing grows in size as time goes on because you started off with enough push to get the sales to begin with. Because that's what you need. Because if you can't get that push and you can't do it yourself in the beginning, then you're only forced, or your only basically option is to sit back and wait. And by the time you wait, there's going to be just too much competition. The competitive edge is going to flood you, right? There's other people who are going to generate sales, and you're just going to be lost. So the question is there too much competition on Redbubble? The answer is absolutely not. It depends on the strategy that you have and the approach. Why are some people able to come on a platform like Merch by Amazon and within a year be able to quit their jobs and run their own business? Same thing with Etsy. Why are people able to do that? It's not like they have some magic formula or some magic potion that they drink every night to help them, boost up like in Fortnite. It's because they're playing the right game and they learn how to play the game and they build on it. And I'll be honest, I'm not perfect in everything, right? Like, for example, YouTube. I've been having a YouTube channel for what, 3 years, 2 years? Some people might say I'm a failure because I have almost 40K subs. You know, I'm not perfect at everything. Print on demand is just something that I understand very well because I started off selling my own clothing that I outsourced from India, from Italy, purchased those clothing, bought it here into the US, and then shipped it out when people bought it on my website. But I had to figure out how to do the SEO. Hey, this is one of my videos here, guys, that I pinned 2 years ago, where I showed me creating a sample of a Redbubble store with a Redbubble, with an Instagram account. You could actually see it. And I started running the tool, and I set up the store exactly how everything you see here is. And I made my sale within 16 hours. Within 16 hours. Now, the tool that you're seeing in this video is made by the same company that the tool that I'm showing here. It's the same thing. They're on a different charging basis, and they have different, allowances. They utilize things differently, but it's the same concept. Because that's what the tool does. It helps you grow. But the point is, and everything that I'm saying is, learn how to play the game. It won't be too competitive. It won't be too saturated. You have to understand that there's no gold rushes anymore. There's not a place where you're just going to come to and make millions of dollars right away without struggling. It's just not going to happen. A lot of people who are complaining about things being too saturated or things being too difficult or things being unfair is because they're not playing the game properly. That's really what it comes down to. There's no secrets. I remember when I first started my very first business, right? I was working for months on end. No wins, 0 wins. And I said, this doesn't work. And then the right side of my brain kind of like shocked me into reality and said, no, this works for other people. It just doesn't work for me because I'm doing it wrong. There's something wrong with me, not the system. The system, I need to do the right system. I'm doing the wrong system. The business model works. I just have to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So, no. Is Redbubble too saturated? Absolutely not. And if anybody really says that, I don't think they know how to play the Redbubble game properly. And by the way, it's not bad to admit that the platform changes over time. You might have super success at one point in time, years ago, and then now you don't have success. The world changes. There are different things that change in the algorithms, in the platforms, the competition. It's not going to be the same. So things do change. And that's normal, and that's perfectly fine. So, I'll give you a quick example. Zazzle. Back in the day, we're talking like 8 years ago, people were all over Zazzle. Zazzle was a big thing. Now a lot of people don't give a damn about Zazzle because they've moved on to other things. It's just how things change. But it is what it is. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I didn't bore you. Hopefully this video was relatively entertaining. But I feel like we covered a lot today, and hopefully this video helps. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye.